He's one of the most self-aware actors and of course extremely witty. I'm talking about none other than Saif Ali Khan.
Well, I think clarity is very important, you know. I like to be clear about everything now. I don't think I've always been like that, but at this stage in life, I like to understand exactly what is happening and why it's happening and why I'm there. So, I mean, it's good to know, you know, when you're on holiday, it's good to know why you're here today. I mean, I had a lovely time over the New Year's. We were in Gstaad in Switzerland, in the Alps. I think one of the things that makes that place the most amazing place in the world, apart from natural beauty, is you can eat and drink and you lose weight. Can you imagine?
Seriously?
Can you imagine? Honestly, I've just realized, I think that's one of the reasons why people keep going back. So after that, when I came here, it's important to know, okay, we're here to work, we're here to kind of settle finances, look after our kids, to kind of organize life, and then hopefully after a film or something, earn another holiday. So to not confuse those ideas. So, you know, I think being aware of what every moment is for, ideally, has become very important to me.
I know everybody has asked you about, you know, you showed an experimental film, and we all know that Kaalakaandi obviously is different.
Yeah.
But also it's very interesting for me is that when you talk about superstars, which you never agree you are, but you are.
No, I don't think
like when it comes to a Salman or Shah Rukh or an Akshay, they sadly, and I've spoken to Shah Rukh about it, they sadly are so constantly burdened with the kind of audience that they cater to, that I don't think they'll ever be able to ever resort to a movie like this.
I've never thought. I think my audience, if there is such a thing, would be really happy with this film. It's not, you know, this is a really good movie. I mean, it's not so weird. It's actually quite a slice of Mumbai life. I mean, this is how people are. This is how people talk. I think it's quite an advanced film in many ways in terms of the kind of things it reflects. Sometimes when we say niche or, you know, a little offbeat, it kind of implies something that's not as entertaining. And this, I think, is a very funny movie, you know. And it's got good comedy and it's got some really funny situations. It's got an urban vibe to it, you know. At the same time, underbelly of Mumbai, kind of the Deepak Dobriyal and Vijay Raj track. So you have three different classes in this film. And it's a film I'm really proud of because Akshat has made it properly, you know. I know he's a great writer, but to direct so well, you have to orchestrate a whole story, and it's a really satisfying experience to watch it. So I'm super pleased.
And like interestingly also sorts of comes across in the advice that you give, because I was reading about how you said, you know, your son and Akshay's son Arav, you know, you said about how they were at the moment they want to become superstars and they don't want to become actors.
You know, I'm so happy you brought that up because I never mentioned Arav.
Oh, really?
I don't know how that came up, because I mean I love Akshay and but I don't know Arav and what his. Maybe he's a very serious chap and he loves acting in movies. I was talking about Ibrahim, who also probably takes it very seriously. I think I say these things sometimes without thinking too much about them. But what I mean is, there's a lot of young people out there who want to become actors and look at it as a physical thing of having a six-pack and being really fit and abs and all that is, of course, part of it. It's part of being a teenage heartthrob, I suppose. But acting itself is a passion and a love for the arts, which you don't hear being spoken about as much as you hear about the beautiful part of it, the kind of superficial part of how you look.
No, absolutely. And I think that is exactly where I think the entire statement about where you said, you know, you're being protective dad about Sara and saying that, you know, I wanted to understand what acting is, kind of got misconstrued saying you don't want him to become an actor, right? Well, it came from a place from the same thought.
It is that. Of course, it came from the same protective thought. And also, Sara has excelled at something. And she's, I mean, not many students are as bright as her. She's finished university a year early. She's super bright. She gets A1s and A stars. And, you know, she could probably, at one point, she wanted to have a job in the White House and work as some kind of, you know, diplomat or various kind of things. So the world is there, and there's a nice normal world out there, which is not so fraught with insecurity and tension and competitiveness. There's a lot of drama behind the scenes of this glamour profession, so-called. And there's actually very little glamour, and there's a lot of hard work and heartache. So any parent, while wishing that on one level for the child, would also be concerned, you know, because it's not, it takes something out of you and it dehumanizes slightly. You know, everyone gets a little thinking only about their work and less about life, which is why you think it's remarkable if people like us are a little more balanced.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think it truly is.
So that is the fear.
You know, you've obviously answered a lot of questions on Taimur. He's
Yeah.
probably one person who breaks the internet.
Well, I mean, I think it would be a little arrogant to hide him, you know, as though he's some kind of. And the press are quite. I mean, they just want a picture because people are interested in what this kid's like. I mean, you know, and it's fine. It's not such a big deal. I mean, you go to the airport and they take your picture, and they're not chasing the car or doing anything. And he'll grow up, I think, to understand that, you know, his parents are quite down to earth, and as well as being privileged people, and he is a privileged child, and he has to understand the balance of his life, and he will not get away with certain comments and remarks in front of us.
Sure.
And that's where it starts. Like we didn't with my parents. So my parents were, and you know, Karina's parents as well are, you know, grounded and down to earth, and insist that their children learn the value of important things in life. So as long as that's there.
Sure, and I think, I'm sure you're used to now he being the most important person when you enter a room and all the attention going right there.
I mean, you know, he's a very cute kid, and I mean, watching him walk for the first time is like watching a drunk baby, which is sorry, it's weird, but he can hardly. He's taking 2 steps, and it's hysterically, and it's so cute. So it's a wonderful part of our lives.
Yeah.
You know, we take it a step at a time. It's a fine line. Kids like that, I know, can become spoilt terrors also.
Yes.
So we try and balance that. But not yet, it's too small still.
You mentioned a race, and I was wondering, are you going to miss being a part of the franchise?
You know,
at all?
I mean, yes and no. Honestly, I mean, when I spoke to Rameshji about it, it's so different, this film, from, it's got nothing to do with 1 and 2. If it was the same character and the same kind of story that was going on, then I would have missed it more. You know, they offered me a part in it as well. But it was nice, it was something, but it was not something that was exciting enough to look at compared. I mean, I'd rather be Navdeep Singh's Hunter than that at the time. So it was a great time doing Race 1 and 2. And with Salman Khan, he's the biggest star in the country. If Ramesh Taurani gets him to be his main lead in a franchise that's worked for him, then God bless him. And I mean, I love them both dearly, but no place for me in that.
For all the Garma Garam Bollywood gossip news and more, download the Zoom app now.